Hi there, knife people, hello lady and gentlemen. Tonight I am going to talk about certain functions on my recently acquired Leatherman ARC multi-tool. Okay, there is a foretelling here. I'm going to talk about this device, also known as a rough file on this side and a diamond sharpener on the other side. There's a lot to like about this tool. And I already made some videos, including the one where I sharpened a 4.5-inch hunting knife made out of German carbon steel in the 60s using this file. Sharpened it enough to cut newspaper in straight lines. There's a short, and I'll throw in the link. Anyway, I also been using, and I've resharpened to my liking with a slightly more acute angle, this MagnaCut blade that comes with a knife. And I find this blade pretty well balanced, good length, comfortable to use. I have no issues, locks up nicely. It's maybe not as fidgety as a button lock knife, but it's close enough that it pleases you on a multi-tool. Like, you can totally one-hand it all the way. What bothers me though, I have this really nice diamond sharpener on one side and a really nice blade on the other, but if I wanted to sharpen this blade, and what if it's the only one I have? I can't use this file. So tonight, I am going to attempt for the first time to remedy this situation, and you will be the witnesses. I only have one shot at it because I'm not spending another $230 on this device, and I'm not sure if the replacement files are available as of yet. I am definitely going to void the warranty on this sucker. A couple things to remember when disassembling Leatherman ARC and probably Leatherman Free P4. Important things to remember are: you need to familiarize yourself with how the knife is built. When you look at this side, you're going to see the tang ends of the tools, like this blade. This is a socket for the screwdrivers. This here is the bottle opener, and this is the saw. These tools kind of dive under this pin. See this pin right here? These two on both sides, and they're basically installed opposite each other. These are the springs. They're flat springs and they work kind of like a torsion spring. And on the side of the blade and the saw, there's also this little divider, but all it is this fence that fences in the tool bit so it doesn't fall out if you drop the knife. It comes in contact with a pin, but it doesn't add to the tension. And the springs here is what operates the locking levers. And this is one lever. It goes from this side to this side, from this side to this side. Okay, those are the basics here. And another thing to remember, these very helpful magnets here. This is a magnet, and this is a magnet. They're medium strength, not super strong, but not weak by any stretch of imagination. And they help you, if you're disassembling the tool, they help you in one way, but kind of get in your way in some other ways. And I'll get to that in a second. Without torturing you any further, without torturing you any further, I am going to remove the file completely. But before I do, I'm going to start rotating it. And what you will see here, eventually the tang of the blade will start pressing on the lever and opening it. And that's exactly the point where I want to stop it. And I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to come in, like if this was the line of the tang, I'm going to draw a perpendicular line and drop a marking down there with a pencil. A magic marker may or may not work here. We'll see in a minute. And so now if I open it all the way, I should see my pencil mark right here. There it is. Let me try that with the marker. Let me see. I would feel more confident if I had a black mark. So I'm going in. Now it's catching. Let me, if I jam it there, maybe. Yeah, I got it. So here it is. All right, that's my mark. I'm going to remove the blade. And the way I handle it, I take the screw. I already loosened the screw, you know. It's Loctited. And it's a very well assembled multi-tool. So now I'm going to push on that nut, which also has a screw head on this side. I'm going to push it, but just enough. I don't want to remove all my tools, so I'm going to push it out just enough that I can remove the blade. See, the blade came out. What did not come out is the washer. There's a little washer in there, and this washer, when you pull out the blade, most likely will fall into the mechanism and even get captured by a magnet in there. And you can see when you manipulated the spring bar pins or spring stop pins, they get out of their nests. So, but nothing terrible. You know, it's not sort of magical exercise in dexterity. It's all doable. So now I need to find and fish out this washer so I don't lose it and I don't forget about it. It's in there somewhere. I see it. There it is. But the magnet is trying to keep it. There it is. Tiny little washer. No bearings here. All right, so now the blade is removed. And I will find my marking, and I'm going to make it square from one side of the blade to another. And then I'm going to draw a straight line from it to the center of the pivot hole. Okay. So that's all the complex prep that I need. And the plan is to remove this material completely from the hole all the way out to the edge. All right, so now I'm going into my secret undisclosed location to remove the material. This is what I got using a Dremel tool. Now, I used just a basic abrasive cutoff wheel. This is what it looks like. I had a jar of water to make sure I'm not overheating the pivot here. And I am wearing a leather welder's apron just in case, because when you're dealing with steel in the 60s, Rockwell hardness, and a cutoff wheel, anything can happen. So be careful. That's where I say this video is for entertainment purposes only. I don't recommend you attempting anything you see here at home, because damage to your equipment, tool, or even personal injury may result. So here we are, and now we're gonna see for the first time. I wish I had a way to do the drum roll. For the first time, we're going to see if it worked. Okay. I'm not putting this washer in because that would be silly. And from my previous experience with this tool, I already know that this washer, with or without it, it's since there's no blade that needs to smoothly like flick out, this side works just fine. So I'm going to tighten. I'm not setting it with Loctite yet. And now I can remove the blade. Right? Let me see. So, or I can press it. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, it locks. It unlocks. My pivot was a little loose. I highly recommend this tool, as you've seen in my other videos, and I'm going to provide a link to it. Let's see. It needs to be tight, but not super tight. Yep. So now, let's see. I can shake it loose, but it takes a firm tap to remove it. Let's see if it's nuisance when I'm using the tool. All right, let's flick this side like I like doing. Yeah. I think I can go a little tighter on the pivot. When you're tightening the pivot, make sure that these pins right here, they're stop bars for the spring. Make sure they're in the right place. You probably won't be able to assemble it without them being in the right place. So right now I torqued it pretty good. Let's see. I can still remove it. I like how tight it is now. And I can still install it. What about the other tools? Can I run the other tools? Nope, a little too tight for those. So we're gonna back off a little bit. Just a little. So now it operates with the same force as when it was brand new, before it broke in a little bit. So that's common complaint about these tools. You kind of have to, unless you have long, very strong nails, you're gonna have to, you know, put some force into it. Let's see the scissors. Good to go. Yep, sure the scissors. Unlock the scissors. All right, this will be a spare. I'm going to put it in the original box. I keep all the boxes for all my devices. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do something that I don't think any Leatherman ARC owner has done before, is sharpen its blade with its native tool. And this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to place it on something that gives me room to operate for my fingers down there. You gotta hate the thumb studs like I do. Why did they take the slot out and put the thumb stud in? Now, every time I sharpen, I have to do this. Now, I don't know if I showed in the other videos, it will run without a thumb stud. It's just not going to be as EDC friendly, as they say. But you can totally one-hand it, even wearing gloves, without a thumb stud. Sure. All right, let's get serious about it. I'm gonna have to speed it up, so no smirky comments from me for a while. Okay. This is a little tricky. It's a little harder this way because the tool itself gets in the way, so let's try it like so. Now I'm going toward me. I think it would have been easier if I kept the factory angle. I went about, what was it, about 22 if I recall, and I'm at 19-ish, 18 and a half maybe. Yeah. I think this file is just barely long enough. Barely long enough. Let me see if I'm getting any burr yet. I didn't do the sharpness test before I started, which is a mistake. I'll just say it was cutting board reviews sharp. This is, my estimated, this is somewhere between 400 and 600 grit, which is plenty for an outdoor tool. So, also, I noticed this particular MagnaCut here, yeah, I definitely have a burr coming from this side, so I need to make sure my angle is now correct on that side. Okay, now the burr got pushed, definitely got burr on the entire edge. I tried showing burr on camera, but it's impossible, so now I'm going to reverse the direction to fatigue the burr. It's my honing pass. And I feel to see if it got pushed to the other side. All right, and now I'm going to go to this side and do the same. And here I'm applying a little less pressure so that I don't create fresh burr. All right, now I'm going to deburr Bubba style. And if you're outdoors, that should be sufficient. I happen to have a piece of organic cardboard here. Yeah, okay. Let's try. All right, so since there was no before, so I feel that I still have some burr right here. I feel it. So I'm going to give it another easy pass. Easy pass. Highway torque. You know what? I like it. I don't know if you see it, but it's giving me like any hand sharpening. By hand sharpening, I mean holding the stone and the knife in hand. It gives me a little bit of a convex edge. Oh yeah. So now let me grab, where's my strop? This is my strop. I use black compound, which is a little coarser than the green, but this way I don't have to refill it all the time. And I like to have a little bit of polish. Some of my blades are Crewwear M4, D2. The more polished the edge is, the more corrosion resistance you will get. I'm going to go ahead and say this out loud. This is turning out to be a pretty good edge. Very grippy. There's a little bit of toothiness. It doesn't look like a Miro edge on a custom knife, but she'll cut. Let's do a close cut here. All right. Well, I think I've proven the point enough. Oh yeah, the paper towel. All right, so for comparison, this is one of my favorite EDCs, which is a Benchmade tag dial. This is how a sharp knife cuts, like this, effortlessly. Very slim blade. I love this knife. I can't believe they didn't give it Knife of the Year. They gave this gimmicky. Anyway, I don't want to get into politics of knives. Look at this. Yeah. All right, I think I proved the point. I don't have to prove it beyond this. And now, put the tool back in. So I'm going to come in at it like so. And with the tool out, obviously that torsion spring moves, so you might have to you might have to come from here. I think is a good direction. But once it catches on the pivot, and if you don't want to remove it, you just want to open it, just keep pressure on it, and it will seat itself in place. Well, I can't send it back now. All right, but why would I? Yeah. I am pleased. Let me know if I shouldn't have been. Ah, come on. These are such a pain in the butt. Why did they do it? Who told them that somehow... You know what? I don't want to double guess Leatherman. They're a great company, so they probably had some engineer draw the blade both ways with a slot and with a little hole, do fatigue analysis, and finding some kind of red zone somewhere where that slot was, where the blade was going to break. So they decided we're going back or forward to them. Maybe that's forward to the thumb stud. And you know, there are advantages to having a thumb stud, but I'm going to gripe about something, ain't I? If I'm griping means I'm happy. Look at that. Let's do a drop test. Didn't come out. Okay, let's do the open test again. Again, if I just want to open, I'll pop it like this and I press it down and it works like a regular file, right? It's locked in. Yeah, locked in. So I can still use this as a handle if I want to file something out there. Yeah. I know I sound calm, but I'm really dancing inside. This was my dream ever since I saw this tool. And I'm glad you were able to witness it. See this face? This is a very pleased with himself son of a gun right there. You can now remove the leather apron. I highly recommend welding supply stores all carry these. And once you get used to putting them on, it's a good apron. Maybe I'll throw a link to that too. We'll see. Let me say this. By making the sharpener removable, I quadrupled the functionality and utility of this tool. Why do I say this? There are actually 4 implements on this multi-tool that require sharpening. The blade, the can opener, the scissors, and the owl. But don't rush in right after you modified your multi-tool and try to sharpen them, because all of these have different grind angles for the secondary bevel, or what we call the edge. And there are certain tricks that you need to know before you attempt to sharpen them. And these tricks are going to be in my next video, where I'm going to sharpen all the remaining 3 tools. So please do subscribe and hit notification button so you don't miss any of my videos. And the only thing I had to sacrifice was this tiny little washer. What I would do, if it was me designing this tool, I would get rid of the washers altogether and stamp a countersink for all these screw heads. They would be protruding into the knife and creating the required offset in lieu of these washers. But, of course, I came up with an easy way to reinstall the washers. And because you watched this video that far, I'm going to share it with you right now. Just pretend that there's no slot here, it's just a hole. What I do is I put a little bit, I have something called liquid bandage. It's very similar, even smells the same as a nail polish. So if you don't have that, you can use your significant other's nail polish. And that's what I do. I put a little bit of that substance there. Let me show you. This side where the washer would be, I would put just a little drop of nail polish or this liquid bandage, and then I would place and center the washer. The liquid bandage dries or cures in about 5 minutes. When it dries, you can then insert it together as an assembly. And so let's put it back in. Oh man, I love how it turned out. Let me know in the comment if you love it, hate it, and in general what you think of my channel. I also would really appreciate, since I'm not affiliated with any knife company, knife selling company, I'm an Amazon affiliate. So if I have links to some merch, shop through these links or just check them out, even that helps. And then subscribe and share this content with your friends. This way I can stay as an independent channel and not be impacted by people that try to sell you some merch.